What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about interesting facts about Norway. As an American, I have a limited understanding of Norway and Norwegian culture, so today I thought it would be fun to take a look at this Reddit discussion where someone asked for interesting facts about Norway, and a whole bunch of Norwegians left comments and answers about interesting facts about Norway that they know. So this person asked, I have a project to do about Norway, your beautiful country, and I was wondering if you could provide me some interesting or weird facts. The focus should be on cultural aspects. So, weird, interesting things about Norway. That sounds very interesting. Facts I couldn't find on Wikipedia, for example. Thank you in advance. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. Facts you can't find on Wikipedia. Facts that you can't find anywhere except for Norwegians, actual Norwegians, giving these secrets, these interesting secret facts. Let's take a look at some of these. Someone said, we don't talk to strangers while in civilization, or public transport, or places like that. Don't talk to. Is it that extreme? Is it don't talk to strangers at all while in civilization? That's a funny way of saying that. It's also just so different to what it's like here in the United States. Like, it is so common for a stranger at some point in the day to say something to me, whether I'm out somewhere at a store or the grocery or a gym or whatever. Someone is going to say something to you, and it's very normal. I kind of like that about America, that people are friendly, but people can also be very annoying as well. Whereas in Norway, as soon as we go for a walk or a skiing trip in the forest, we suddenly greet everybody that we meet. Oh, okay, so then it's okay, right. So in Norway, there's very specific circumstances where it's okay to talk to strangers. You don't talk to strangers at all, like on buses or at the store. But once you go for a walk or a skiing trip or a hike, suddenly Norwegians talk to each other. Why is that? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense, but this is the way. Yeah, why is that? Why is it that Norwegians are like comfortable in nature, or you're like all bonding over nature and being outside, or maybe you feel more safe and approachable? I don't know what it is. In America, people feel very open to talking to you anywhere. But if you're in nature or out alone, that's one circumstance where in America you almost wouldn't talk to other people cuz it'd be like uncomfortable or a lack of trust. It's like the opposite. Why is that? Ha ha ha. I can second this one. I moved back to Norway 6 years ago from living in large cities. It's the funniest when you're in a town walking on roads where no one is greeting each other. Yeah, like if you're walking on a sidewalk or a road, or if you drive by a neighborhood and someone's mowing their lawn, they're usually going to wave or nod or say, how's it going, or something. I don't know if that's what it's like in Norway or maybe not. You make a quick shortcut through some trees to a more paved way. Suddenly, the etiquette is to greet each other simply due to the terrain? Really? It's that simple? It just depends on the terrain? Whether you're allowed to greet each other. That's funny. That's very specific Norwegian culture, custom. Love it though. When in a good mood walking in the forest, everyone smiles and greets you. Generally older generations. Interesting. Very interesting. I like that. That is an interesting fact about Norway. Let's keep going. In Norway, kids in barnehage, kindergarten, are outside for a minimum of 2 hours a day, unless it's below -10. Kids, you know, I've heard a little bit about this, that in Norway, you try to get kids outside, even kindergartners. I think in general, Norwegians try to get outside and connect with nature. I've learned that. And I think that is so fantastic. I think that really is a big key to why Norwegians are happier, um, and actually a little more connected with nature and outdoors. It's a good thing. We don't do that here. Definitely not for our kindergartners. That's another thing. We treat our children very protective, very, very protective. Like we're very afraid to let our kids roam around outside or get outside, or leave like babies out like in cold or anything like that. And in American kindergarten, we don't emphasize like a need to get outside or anything. That's not like a priority. But it's good. It's good for you though. It's not uncommon to see your 3-year-old in a little orange vest walking 2 to 3 miles from the school? That is unbelievable. That's so different. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around. Because in America, we don't have as much trust. So I would be like worried if I had a little 3-year-old walking around outside, like with their class. I don't know. I would just be worried, even though they're probably fine, probably safe. I don't know why. I think it's just Americans worry more. But this is normal in Norway. So Norwegians don't really worry. This is just normal. Kids have a right and a need to be outside and play. In America, like, kids get like half an hour to an hour to play outside for recess. Probably like half an hour or something. Much less than in Norway. There's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. Oh my god, so Norwegian kids are outside like in the snow and the rain or whatever? Oh my god. Things you hear as a foreigner in the country, and they're not wrong. Wow, so this is true. Also seeing prams with babies parked out of restaurants, swaddled in fur, sleeping in cold weather. When I heard about this, that was one of the most crazy things I've ever heard. In Norway, leaving babies in their stroller or carriage outside in cold weather. That is couldn't be more different to America. That is so different. Hosts watch the buggies while parents eat. The host will come notify the parent if the baby needs attention. I didn't know about that. There's hosts. Never in my entire life have I heard of hosts. Yeah, there's actually someone watching the babies. That actually makes it a bit better to me. If that's true, that makes more sense to me. If there's people watching the babies that can come notify the parents if something's wrong. Even still, this would never happen here. Never happen here. That's amazing. Most Americans wouldn't even believe that. Wow. What else? Interesting facts about Norway. Norwegians don't talk to strangers in public. They're really hammering this one home. This must be true. Really hammering this one in. If I sat next to a person on the bus and they started a conversation with me, I'd think the person was weird and I'd be uncomfortable. In America, if someone started talking to me on the bus, I would be uncomfortable. Most people don't necessarily like that, but I wouldn't think that they're weird. Some people in America are just very talkative, and it's socially acceptable here to strike up a conversation with people. But that doesn't mean that we all enjoy it. So, I don't know, maybe some of us have a little Norwegian in us in that sense. What else? Norway introduced salmon to Japan. That's pretty amazing, huh? That's pretty amazing, because my entire life I have thought that sushi, salmon, that's such a Japanese food. Such a Japanese food. Iconic, Japan. And then to learn that salmon, it comes from Norway, introducing that to Japan. That is so random. That is a very interesting fact. Norwegian salmon is huge in Japan. The Japanese love all our seafood, especially the king crabs. Really, king crabs too? That's amazing. Norway just sends all the fish to Japan. I had no idea. Norway isn't even next to Japan. That's kind of the part where it's like, I didn't see that connection. Yes, our fish export PR people popularized salmon sushi. Yep. That's the second foreign seafood dish based on specifically Norwegian fish export. Yeah, pretty amazing. That's cool. I guess Japan loves Norway, huh? Japanese must love Norway, 'cause they they have made that Japanese salmon and sushi famous. What else do we have here? Interesting facts about Norway. Here in northern Norway, there is a group of indigenous people called the Sami. I've heard of this name, Sami. Northern indigenous Norwegians. They're in the north. I don't know anything about them. Best known for reindeer herding, which we oppressed for hundreds of years in the 1800s. Wow. And there is still some resentment going around. Oh. When the traffic signs here got a Sami translation on them some years ago, there were people so outraged that the Sami text was placed above the Norwegian one, and they shot the signs full of holes. Wow. You don't hear about that very often. You don't hear about like negative, almost like racist sort of behavior in Norway. That seems very unusual to me. So the Sami people, they're in northern Norway. They're indigenous, so they're the original inhabitants of Norway. Is that why they got the Sami text above the Norwegian text? They were trying to honor the Sami people in a way. That's terrible that people got upset by that. That's really unfortunate and not something I usually associate that. I don't associate that behavior with Norway, usually. Wow. What else? These are very interesting. We used to have a law called Gulatingsloven that made it illegal not to brew beer at least 4 times a year? Hold up. The law is you need to brew beer at least 4 times a year. You have to brew beer. You're forced to make beer, okay? For summer and winter solstice, and spring and autumn equinox. It was punishable by banishment. Banishment. Things have gone downhill since then. What? So this law is gone. Okay. Basically, early workers' rights. You had to supply beer to the farmhands. You needed beer to give to your workers? So they made you brew beer? Okay, I've never heard of that. That's interesting. I love how random these Norwegian facts are. You really wouldn't hear this anywhere else, would you? Except straight from Norwegians. Let's keep going. The further south you come from Norway, the more the North will dislike you. Oh, the further south that you live in Norway, the more that the northern Norwegians will dislike you? Really? There's a northern southern divide in Norway? Really? We might be nice when we talk to you, but as soon as you walk away, we will say to ourselves, Jævla suring? Oh, what does that mean? That's not unique to Norway. We do that in the UK too. This is very interesting. I have never heard this. Is there a dynamic between the northern Norwegians and southern Norwegians? There's like animosity? Is it this intense, or is this like overstating it? Because I didn't know about this. And what does this mean? Javla suring? I don't even. What does that mean? Okay, this is very... Okay, that's really all the info I have on that. That is really something that you have to be Norwegian to understand, I think. I hope that it's not that, like, actual big of a divide between northern and southern Norway. But that is interesting. I didn't know about that. That's unfortunate. What else? The Jotunheimen toll are the deadliest of the Norwegian trolls. Norwegian trolls! At an average of 25 and a half people a year, more than double the kills of Vestandstrolet, the second deadliest. That averages 12 people a year. Trolls? We're talking about Norwegian trolls? It's just to be clear here. Trolls? Norwegian trolls killing 25 people a year? My grandpa was killed by the Jotunheimen troll. May he rest in peace. I don't know if it's a Norwegian joke or real. That's exactly how I feel. I'm like, this is a joke, right? But there's a lot of Norwegians here acting like this is real. Yes, trolls. If you don't know what they are, nor the rules of troll spotting, you should watch the documentary Trolljegeren before considering visiting Norway. What on earth? This is funny. Okay. All right. Maybe the trolls are real. 25 Norwegians lost their lives to trolls. I should be more respectful about it. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. What else do we have here? A couple more interesting facts. Despite what you've heard, some of us are extroverts. Okay. This is fantastic because I have wondered this. Because everything I've seen here so far is saying Norwegians don't like to talk, don't like to interact with strangers, very introverted. Some Norwegians are extroverts. But is that weird? Are Norwegians who are extroverts considered strange or going against the norm? We are the ones who will look at your shoes instead of our own when you talk to us? That's as extroverted as a Norwegian gets, looking at your shoes. When you talk, on a more serious note, a lot of old beliefs are still alive and well in Norway, especially in rural areas. The various Nisser and Underjordic people are alive and well, and trolls exist outside of the internet in Norway. Here we go again with this troll stuff. I can't believe no one else mentioned trolls. Norway has a strong history of trolls. What is all this troll stuff all of a sudden? What is all this? I guess there's trolls. Okay. As a Norwegian with a slightly below average Norwegian salary, I am amongst the wealthiest 1% of people in the world. Is that true? Are Norwegians who don't even earn that much, are you still much richer than the rest of the world? I know Norway is known for being very wealthy. A lot of very wealthy economy, wealthy country, wealthy government, a wealthy fund, the $1 trillion oil fund. And is this true? Is the poorest Norwegian still rich? I wonder. Norway drinks the most Pepsi Max in the world. Pepsi Max. Why Pepsi Max? 19 liters per capita a year. 9% of the global consumption of Pepsi Max goes to Norway. I don't remember the last time I saw Pepsi Max. Pepsi Max is not available in most countries. Okay, maybe that explains it. Pepsi Max, what even is Pepsi Max? Is it different than Diet Pepsi, sugar-free Pepsi? It's Pepsi Max. Why Pepsi Max? That's very funny and random. Norwegians suffer from collective seasonal amnesia. We experience winter every year. Even so, we are baffled when the first snowfall comes, even if it's reported by meteorologists in advance. Most car owners postpone changing to winter tires until they are literally shoveling snow from the car. Norwegians like to pretend that winter isn't coming. Seasonal amnesia. Norwegians like to pretend winter doesn't exist, like to put off acknowledging winter. that's that's very funny. Just like to deny winter as long as possible. That's funny. I think that's a good place to stop. This was a lot of really interesting facts about Norway, and I really enjoyed this because it felt like Norwegians giving really deep insights into Norwegian culture that I haven't seen anywhere else. It's coming from Norwegians that have that Norwegian experience sharing some of these facts. So I really enjoyed that part of this a lot. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your interesting fact about Norway or your thoughts on any of these facts. That'd be amazing and very interesting. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.